Welcome to the Let's Get Word podcast, where we roll up some sweet, pull up the seat, and get blunt about our healing. My name is Tanya Johnson Anderson, and I am your spiritual mentor, your spiritual and energetic mentor for the next year. And while this is the podcast episode number 22, this is the first episode in my 1 year journey to helping you become. I had in my head all of what I wanted to say in this episode. And I actually started recording, and I was 30 minutes into the recording, and I just heard delete it because it wasn't real. So what I mean by that, it was commercialized. It was me speaking in a very structured manner to give you something like an online course experience. Because in my interpretation, that's what I wanted. But in all honesty, that's not how Spirit is requesting I show up in this. Like I've said, for the next year, I've been tasked with helping you explore your soul. And with that tasking, that means there's going to be a lot of shift that comes moving forward for a lot of people. I don't know. But so I don't want to get too married to the structure that you lose me in the support of your shift that is happening. So I'm opening up my spirit and I'm opening up my heart to what God has for everyone. God, Spirit, Universe, you guys know the drill, right? To what God has for everyone. And so today, I want to talk about breathing the things that we once desired for ourselves, that we've obtained and lost, that we've yet to obtain. We are holding ourselves to a standard giving to nobody but us, right? It is our belief of where we should be, our belief of what we should have been doing, our belief of what we could have done different, our belief. It is our belief that keeps us planted in places that no longer serve us. This isn't to victim blame. I'm not telling you should have moved or anything. I am saying it is our belief that kept us in places that no longer served us. Doesn't mean the belief was right or wrong. It could have been what you thought could happen. Could have been the very thing that could have happened, right? So, like, the belief could be right, yet and still, it's our belief. And that's what's kept us planted in places we no longer desire. So if it can do that, the inverse has to be also possible, right? That our belief can make room for us in places we've never been. And this is what that next year is going to be about, right? We know where we fucked up, okay? We know all the things that we desired and didn't obtain. We know where we think we should be right now and we aren't. We know those fucking things. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time harping on that. We're going to grieve it this month, yes. But we also want to release it, okay? We'll also release it, right? But if we can make that belief that keeps us this way, we could also do the inverse and make a belief that keeps us moving forward. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that is the stories we tell ourselves. The stories we tell ourselves has everything to do with where we're going. And I'm going to slow down because I think I'm moving too fast. I'm getting ahead. I'm like piecing shit together and getting excited. And I want to make sure that the message is being conveyed correctly. No one knows what could have been. But we do know where we could be going. And we're asking you to make a choice. I'm sorry, I'm like channeling right now. But we're asking you to make a choice. I am merely a messenger, right? So I am just going to give y'all the message as I hear it. And don't attribute said message to me. We don't have time for your shenanigans. The world is at war. You're either in or you're out. Your gifts will make way for you, but only if you step into your gift. We cannot make you step into where you should or you know you should be moving. The call is just going to get louder and louder and louder. The call is not going to stop. You keep running away from your calling. The call is going to get loud. You cannot run any longer. If you're being tapped right now, and I don't have to explain what that looks like, you know if you've been tapped and activated. That it would not be a question if you've been tapped and activated. So if we have tapped and activated you in this moment, you will not be able to run from your calling. Because your soul is on board. So your physical will either be on board with it and all things can go great, or there can be a separation. And when your soul separates from your body, the body is really, it's really hard for the body to function correctly. And this is not out of retribution. This is not consequence. This is what you asked for. and not in no karmic soul contract kind of way. I'm talking about in this lifetime, you've asked for what you're about to receive. Happiness, joy, peace, serenity, abundance, all of that. But in order to get to that place, you have to disconnect. We have to disconnect from all the other influences in your life that's not in alignment with where you desire to be. Because all of that is in alignment with the frequency of your desire. And they're telling me stop trying to make sense of it and just say what they're saying. Okay. You will not be without in this season. But you do need to move and you do need to listen. You're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. Your mind is quite made up. You're resisting. And that resistance will look like anxiety. That resistance will look like paranoia. That resistance will look like panic. You're resisting where you've already made your mind up that you're going. Decide to let go. You're holding on to the door frame while being carted away to your destiny. And you are going kicking and screaming, desiring to hold on to what no longer serves you, is that you've been praying your way out of. You've been praying your way out of these places. And so many times people say, well, where was God when I was? He was there. You just weren't listening. And you gotta listen. Quiet your brain. Quiet your mind. Slow down. And listen. The world is about to have the ability. The world is about to slow down. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a U.S. thing. But I have a feeling that the world is about to really come to another kind of screeching halt. Feels very reminiscent of the first lockdown, but it doesn't feel as the same level of severity or something like that. It feels different. But it also feels like we're inside. It could be weather, for all I know. It very much can be weather as the East Coast and all that is approaching its winter season. And we all know how the climate change has been affecting a lot of weather in the U.S., but that's neither here nor there. We're getting off topic. That's not what this is about. You're welcome. So they're like, thank you. You're welcome. So now that's out of the way, I could go in with what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So, are you prepared for what's next? Are you prepared for your next level of what you desire for yourself? Because I'm prepared to give it to you. Well, not give it to you. Help you see it and achieve it. with the new course of Becoming Me, right? It is a year-long journey to selfhood, really exploring who you are, digging deep, and really figuring out that soul expression and how that desires to show up in your life, and really helping you to align with that and make it available to you in this lifetime. Otherwise, we will die still yearning, right? We can obtain our desires within a system, but first we have to disconnect and make the choices for ourselves so that when we do reconnect, we are very clear on what that looks like. So I am asking you to take 1 year to figure out your alignment, your personal frequency. I like to call it the miracle frequency, right? And the reason I say that is because there are things that's for you. The desires of your heart, right? I'm going to help you figure that out here in the next minute or two. The desires of your heart. That's for you. It's for you. But we have to make sure that those are actually things we desire and not things that others have desired of us and for us. And the only way to do that is to actually sit still and figure it out. And so in each month, we will have a Let's Get Blood podcast similar to this. And then we will have accompanying work to help you navigate. So for instance, this month we are going to cover intention setting and really preparing for the shift in our life, and then cord cutting, right? So this month we're going to work on clearing the slate and figuring out what we desire, right? And it's about what we truly desire, because most people are going to be like, Dad, I want money, I want money. And you don't. You want money because you live in a capitalistic society. But if money was not part of the equation, you wouldn't want it, because it really does nothing for you other than afford the ability to do the other shit. So money is not an end result. Money is a vehicle. Money is a means to an end. So it is not what you want. And I would venture to say the big ass house, the cars, and all that, that really isn't what you want. It might be what your consciousness wants, but we're not talking about that. We're asking, what does our soul want? We're going a little bit deeper. What does your soul want? Because your soul is not going to ask for a Mercedes, because your soul has no use for it. Your physical being does. Your soul is not going to ask for that. Your soul is not going to ask for the estate, the luxury estate with the waterfall and all. Your soul isn't going to ask for that, because it has no use for it. Your soul will ask for things like relationships that are equally yoked spiritually, mentally, physically. You want to be loved. You want to experience this thing, that thing. That is what your soul is going to ask.
Yes, Corin.
And so when they say money can't buy happiness, I believe that's what they mean. Money can't buy fulfillment. It can band-aid it. I'm not saying you're not going to have fun. I'm not going to say you won't have fun. But all that stuff can come and go. You can lose it as fast as you ate it, and you can make it as fast as you've lost it. The only thing that remains consistent is you in the process. So that's what we're going to work on, you. Okay. So for the first exercise, you could go back on the Patreon. Everything is going to be linked below. Click, sign up for Patreon. It's free. It's free. There will be levels that are paid for, but 90% of everything, it is free. Okay? So go down below. You will find the quiz, the workbook, and some meditations. And this feels so all over the place. So I am going to apologize. Spirit is not making an apology. In fact, they're getting on me for even apologizing. This feels, in my Virgo spirit, is feeling real haphazard and not well put together. So, and that's giving me a little bit of anxiety about it, because it doesn't feel structured. And this is very hard for me to show up in that. But that is my lesson. That's part of my lesson, is letting things be what they are. So when you go to the Patreon, you will have a workbook that you could download, or you could pull it up on your phone and work with it on paper and just answer on paper and things like that. You will find meditations. You will find, what else? The quiz and the deep dives for your archetypes. That is where the community is going to be. There, I want the community only to be people who are committed to the work. So I probably won't be replying a lot in the open comments out in social media, but you will get community within the Patreon, which will look like me being in there from time to time. But also you will have community with everybody else that is navigating along with you. And sisterhood and sistership is invaluable in this process. Make sure that you're being vulnerable and authentic and not being predatory in nature. Because it can get like that when you're triggered and struggling. You'll reach out and not understand that you're drowning somebody else. Okay? So I want you to be mindful that you guys aren't connecting in trauma. And keep it in conversation within the community as you're navigating this. And if you form friendships outside of it, make sure that it's not focused solely on your healing. Because they will become codependent relationships, and that's not really great for you. And we've all been there in our healing journey, especially when left alone in our journey. We will look for someone who understands what we're going through. So it can easily get very codependent. And that's not healthy for either party. So, with that, go inside the Patreon. There will be a video in there, and it's going to explain a lot of things. All right, my loves. I can't wait to help you navigate your next chapter. And I will see you in 2 weeks.